Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are from Foreign Trade University in Ho Chi Minh campus, and we're here to present our stock pitch on Asia Commercial Bank. We initiate a buy recommendation with a one-year target price of 38,100 BND, offering a 23% upside, supported by three main pillars. Top-notch asset quality weathers the macro risk, well-positioned to capture the fee and retail trend, and a steep earnings cycle upturn. Currently, ACB has a very attractive valuation, with the price to book is below the peer median. We will go over the executive summary, the investment highlight, the valuation, and wrapping up with the investment risk. So now, ACB is a leading retail bank in Vietnam, with 90% of its loan books are made up from individuals and SMEs, which is the highest mark in the industry. ACB, besides being a leader in asset quality, also enjoyed the highest credit rating in Vietnam, equaling the sovereign rating. After having an overlook of ACB, I would like to introduce the three main reasons that make us want to buy this stock. First, top-notch asset quality weathers the macro risk, well-positioned to capture the fee and retail trend, and the steep earnings cycle turn. Now let me go to the first point. Top-notch asset quality weathers the macro risk. We believe that it's necessary to be cautiously optimistic about the future economy. The credit to GDP has surged to 130%. Together with the rising interest rate floor, we believe that these are the strong indicators of higher credit risk profile. And the government has taken action to ensure the stability of the banking system. First, by tightening the credit growth limit to only 17% this year. Secondly, discouraging the lending to risky sectors such as unsecured consumer finance and lending to land developers. And lastly, strengthening the capital base by the application of Basel II. We believe that ACB will stand out from other peers against this backdrop. First of all, ACB has the best-in-class asset quality with the lowest total loan at risk at only 0.9% due to the past effort of cleaning up the legacy bad debt and the concentration to the secure lending. ACB NPLs is forecasted to inch up just a little bit in the future due to the retail expansion, however, still remains the lowest in the industry. Besides that, ACB is very conservative in its lending. It has no unsecured consumer finance and little exposure to land developers. And last but not least, ACB is strongly capitalized, well above the government requirements, and we believe that the bank will continue to keep this safe margin in the preparation for Basel II. Now, I would like to introduce our second point.
Besides a strong balance sheet to weather economic risk and sustain loan growth, ACB is well positioned to capture growth opportunity from two secular banking trends, namely the explosion of retail lending and the emergence of fee income sources. On the back of one of the lowest household credit to GDP in the region, Vietnam retail loans are forecast to grow by 18% per annum for the next 5 years. Mortgage is one of the main drivers behind this, as Vietnamese home ownership is forecast to jump by 21% from now until 2030. As discussed above, ACB specializes in retail segment. As such, we believe it will benefit from this trend, especially as the bank plans to expand its customer group to lower income segments. In addition, in 2017, ACB recorded the second highest absolute growth in mortgages, second only to Techcombank, demonstrating its confidence in competing for mortgages. We expect ACB mortgage will grow faster than its credit growth, fostering an improvement in loan yield. In terms of growth opportunity from fee income, Vietnam fee income to revenue is much lower than the regional average, and they expected to gradually catch up with peers going forward. With proven capabilities in this regard, evidenced by its higher than average fee income to revenue, coupled with extensive customer base from SME, we believe ACB fee income to revenue ratios will broad regional average in 5 years. Besides benefit from the big pictures, there's another factor that will ACB a push.
We are talking about expected strong upturn in earnings in the next few years thanks to vast effort in clearing NPLs. First, ICB finished provisioning its legacy NPLs in 2017. This will try an estimated 70% reduction in provision expense in 2018 and retrieve provision expense as percentage of PPOP from 49% to only 11%. And we expect this low level to maintain going forward, as we believe ICB will continue to pursue conservative lending strategy. We project that this level off in provision expense alone will add 57 basis points to ROA in the next 5 years. Second, we forecast a marked improvement in CAR, which is projected to drop by 10 percentage points in 2018, thanks to the absence of the special provision. A 45% CAR will put ACB at the lower spectrum of the industry. Finally, we expect significant income for collection of bad debt written off. This will be backed by a vibrant real estate market. Resolution 42, which allows credit institutions to rapidly repossess collateral in case of default, and the fact that most of ACB loans have real estate collateral. All in all, we forecast ACB ROA to go double in 1 year going forward, which will catapult ACB ROE to the top tier of the industry.
With all of those highlights, what is the price that they translate into? We employ two valuation methods, residual income and price above multiple, at a 50-50 weighting. But first, why residual income? Well, it is impractical to employ DCF for banks, and in the case of ACB, DDM is also impractical because this bank does not have a stable policy for cash dividend. That leaves us the residual income, which calculates a stream of net income minus an FD charge. We start with revenue drivers, interest income and fee income. For the interest part, we forecast a loosening of the credit gap toward the end of the period. We can pencil a NIM expansion, thanks to CASA and retail expansion. Meanwhile, the fee part is to be quadrupled over the next 5 years, thanks to the extensive customer base of SMEs. Translating all of those growth into pre-tax income, we see a 16% CAGR after the surge in 2018. Moving on, our cost of equity is derived from a bottom-up industry beta, and the terminal growth rate is 1.5%. Considering that the banking industry moves with the consigned cycles of the economy. For price development, our pyramid consists of both domestic and emerging market peers. ACB is currently trading below peer median, and we believe this bank well deserves this median of 2.3 times because of its high asset quality. Finally, we confirm our buy recommendation with a 73% probability from our Monte Carlo simulation.
And to complete our analysis, we'll highlight 3 key risks of ACB investment case, namely the real estate downturn risk, the recapitalization risk, and the risk of inability to adapt to economic circumstances. Firstly, the risk of real estate downturn. But if a downturn occurs, then not only the mortgage loan, but the liquidation value of collateral written off will be hampered. However, the state has proactively intervened and put the real estate market under control. Moreover, ACB can effectively mitigate the risk by lowering the loan-to-value ratios for its future loans. Secondly, the recapitalization risk. Simply qualifying Basel II CAR is not enough. A safety margin is needed to ensure a sustainable loan growth. Having been said, ACB conservative banking strategy resulted in a low risk-weighted assets and a low capital need compared to other banks. Moreover, ACB do mitigate the risk by its issuance of subordinated debt, and this can also sell treasury shares in the future. And lastly, the risk of inability to adapt to economic circumstances. As we mentioned, the current outlook is cautious, and we believe that ACB prudence is the fittest in this background. But in a bullish scenario where there is no problem, although ACB financial performance will be higher than the current projections, we will rather choose a more aggressive bank like VPBank or Techcombank to invest among the banking universe.
And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we initiate a buy recommendation with 33% upside, supported by 3 main pillars: top-notch asset quality, well-positioned to capture the banking trend, and a steep earnings cycle upturn. Thank you for your hearing, and we are ready for the Q&A section.